Hey, how we doing? How we doing, legends? Great to see you all. Thank you very, very much for joining me again for another great day. What is a great day? I'm keen to look at Bitcoin, keen to look at the market today. I think Bitcoin has just done something very interesting within the past 20 minutes or so. So yeah, we're keen to get looking at that to see where it's at. Let me know in the chat what you think is going to happen today. What do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin and the market? Do let me know. Nick, how we doing? And my boy, Bobby, you wasn't first, mate. Nick was first. Nick beat you. At least I am on time today. Afternoon, Disciples and Jeff. Great to see you, mate. And yeah, do listen to Jeff. Make sure you do get your likes in nice and early. Firewatch, how we doing? And yeah, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. How are we all? Yeah, another day. And what is, obviously, we had quite a good overnight on Bitcoin, didn't we, really? We had quite a good overnight on Bitcoin. You know, we got all the way up to just shy of 115k. And then, ever since then, which was about 3 o'clock this morning, we've gradually sold off. And obviously, particularly as we've come into the London session today, 9 o'clock. We've sold off quite aggressively. So that would have been actually... no, that's right, yeah. So we've sold off obviously quite aggressively. Now, Bitcoin, where is it? Well, I think what's quite interesting is if you go on a 1 hour chart, if you see, we've just liquidated obviously this low here, which I think maybe could put in a higher low potentially. So if we look at the market, and let me just get rid of these, because 115k is a huge area for Bitcoin. But if we look at the market, what have we had? Well, we basically just had a constant series of lower highs, haven't we? So lower high, lower high, lower high. You could call this a lower high now as well. But obviously we've also been given lower lows alongside that. Now, obviously this low is pretty interesting because obviously we came into a key area and then we came back for these lows and liquidated and then pushed up. So this low here is quite interesting to me. Now, if we put in, and obviously this is a big if, so capital letters if, star before and after this if, but if we do turn around from this point on, from this point where we are right now, this could potentially put in a higher low, something obviously that we've not seen and been able to comfortably do on Bitcoin since we started to fall off. Now, what would be needed after that? We would need to rally and obviously come up, blow past 115k, and either just obviously relentlessly push up, or then go on to obviously get some market structure break, and come and we break this, and then we break market structure basically because we break the lower high, and then potentially put in like a higher high somewhere. So then obviously this becomes a high, this becomes a higher high. So I think that's quite interesting for where we're at on Bitcoin. That's really currently the only hopium I'm seeing, because obviously we've just had strong weakness since 3 o'clock in the morning. And as you can see, it's just been one gradual sell-off. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking we've just liquidated these two lows here. We've come in and potentially we are putting in a higher low. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, that's really the only thing I can think of that is looking positive at the moment, given obviously we've sold off from there. Obviously, we don't want to come down and we don't want to liquidate this low, because then that, we could then go much. We could go to 112, we could go to 111, we could go to 110. But if we do manage to put in a higher low here, then it could provide some good outlook. Now, obviously, we need to go alongside that the momentum to turn and obviously favour the buying side, because obviously sellers remain in control of the market at the moment. But that is your piece of hopium today. That's your piece of hopium from me anyway. Afternoon discipline, how are we doing? Let me know in the chat if you agree with that. Do you think that's rational, or do you think no, we're going lower? Obviously, it remains to be seen. We need to see how PA kind of evolves for the next, particularly hour or two. But I think, yeah, that's obviously just one potential bit of hopium. But yeah, I mean, sellers remain in control of this market. As you can see here, bounces are being a bit short-lived. So we will soon see. And obviously, depending on how price action evolves today, we'll kind of know by the end of today, won't we? If we're going to go down lower, or if we're going to, get maybe a serious bounce going into the weekend. I think you think US market open will send us to 112,600. As long as we don't liquidate that low, I wouldn't even really be bothered, to be honest. We going lower, I think, says Nick. I'm saying lower up on the weekend. Lower as in lower today, or lower than the current low? So lower today, or do you think we're going to smash through this low here? I don't think we liquidate that low. And that is literally just because I'm long. So it's a completely biased opinion. Completely and utterly biased. And that is the only reason I'm saying that, is because I'm long. But, I suppose you've got to kind of back your corner, haven't you? If I don't believe we're going to go up, I don't know why I'm long. So I've just got to believe it. But yeah, we'll soon see. Lower today. Oh, Jeff, you big bear. You big bad bear. I mean, we'll soon see, won't we? I mean, the thing is, when you look at it, it just look like, obviously, sellers remain in control of the market. We know that. We can tell that by, obviously, the lack of momentum to the upside. But this looks like a very orchestrated, obviously, drop down. And there's plenty of levels, low time frame here to run and come and look for some liquidity and stops. We could always just do this, couldn't we? Could go lower and then we could bounce back up. And we could just spend maybe 1 or 2 days in this range before we take direction. Yeah, but we'll have to see. But I think that's where we're at. I think this is something to watch out for. Is this going to put in a higher low? And is that going to then result in us market structure breaking and maybe getting a serious push up to 117, 118k potentially? Or are we destined for a bloodbath? I think maybe it depends on what the S&P does today as well, because obviously, like we know, basically Bitcoin is just following the S&P, whether it's positive or negative, and that is just following it to the downside. So if we get maybe a bounce on the S&P today, or at least some sturdiness, obviously we sold off aggressively yesterday, didn't we? And then this bounce that we've had maybe helped Bitcoin a bit. And, around a similar time is when we started selling off on this, which obviously, as you can see, basically the same pattern on Bitcoin, even though we've not really been following it to the upside. It's quite laughable, really, isn't it? But yeah. Sean says TMG is very bullish on Twitter, but nowhere else is posting the same. He's on a town hall right now, actually. He's on a CSE town hall right now. That always falls at the same time that I stream. Anyway, let's see what ETH is doing. What is ETH doing? Pretty much same pattern. I think we'll probably look at most things today, and you would probably see a very similar pattern. ETH is obviously still, despite falling off a bit, and obviously ETH Bitcoin down a bit today, you can see for yourself how much stronger ETH is than Bitcoin, because we are miles away, really, from obviously the low. And then when we look at Bitcoin, we're not so far away. So you can see, obviously, the strength that ETH has had on this push back up, bounce, whatever you want to call it. And same for Solana, really. Obviously had some great strength come into it yesterday. Retracing today alongside Bitcoin. BNB hit an all-time high yesterday, or early today, whichever one it was. All-time high of basically 885-ish. So an all-time high on BNB. Doge, yeah, so nothing, I think everything is looking kind of the same. There's nothing really too much that's jumping out at me saying, oh yeah, this looks fantastic. But that could obviously soon change. We could get that with Bitcoin today, should it put in a higher low. But as we can see, we're just looking across the market. Aave is actually one that's in the positive. Obviously, very strongly correlated to ETH. And that is actually positive today. MNT. Obviously, I learned yesterday that this is the Bybit token now. I had no idea. And that has obviously got a huge, huge rally. And it's kind of continuing it on. It's obviously got some strong resistance up at 140. So that is the level to break for it. Tau. I haven't looked at Tau in a good long time. Probably should remap my levels on Tau at some point. ARB. Yeah, so like I said, there's nothing really too much that's jumping out of the screen at me. What's that there? It's Velo down 6%. But yeah, there's nothing really too much. Aero down 5%. But again, that's another one that's just been incredibly strong. So, what is... where was that then? Where's Elrond? E-Gold, $15. This seems to be kind of pinned, doesn't it, at $15, really? This has been at $15 for ages. Or in and around, at least. We have a look, yeah. I mean, is that just accumulation? Is that just accumulation on eGold? Yeah, if you want me to look at anything specific, do let me know in the chat. Final boss is plummeting down. You'd love to see it. And yeah, Bitcoin is getting a pretty minor bounce so far. But any bounce is a good bounce after selling off for the most part of the past 10 hours. What time does today's news come out? Yeah, so we do actually have, thanks for reminding me, Sean. We have, I believe it's S&P Global stuff. Okay. I think this stuff only comes out once in a while, I think. I don't even know if it's every month. I can't remember. Let me get rid of that. So these come out at 2:45. So 15 minutes before we end the stream. And then, of course, tomorrow we've got Powell's speech at Jackson Hole. I seen someone say something quite funny on X yesterday. And I don't even know if it's that funny. I just found it funny. What time is jobless claims? Let me see. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. For some reason, this isn't red folder. You would think this would be red folder, like high importance, but it's not red for some reason. It's orange, but that is in 12 minutes. If you're interested in that, we'll take a look at it. Want to go for long, but might wait for an entry of 111,000. Says discipline. I suppose you're showing your name there, aren't you? Some discipline. Loki, how are we doing? Equinox, how are we feeling? I'm feeling good, thank you very much. How are you feeling? How is things with you, Equinox? Does B&B still do quarterly burns? I believe so, yeah. I think I believe that they still do that, I think. When does Too Late Jerome speak? Tomorrow at 3 o'clock UK time. So obviously depending on what time zone you're in. Yeah, 3 o'clock UK time. And yeah, Black, we will watch out for them jobless claims in roughly 10 minutes now. But yeah, I seen someone say something quite well. I don't know why I found it so funny. I think it was because when they said it, the market was just nuking at the time. But they said, has anyone spoke to Jackson and asked them to get out of the market's hole? Now I don't. It's probably not even that funny. But because like things were just melting down at the time, I just found it really funny. It probably actually weren't even that funny. I don't know if anyone else finds that funny, but I just think like all the hysteria and importance that has been put on this speech when literally for the past 2 years he has said nothing. And is it like Powell to give away what the Fed are going to do in September? I just think it's going to be a whole load of just nothingness. But I could be wrong, of course. Let's hope. Thank you for answering our questions. Of course, I'll answer any question. Get any further questions you want asking. Get them in. Let's hope the jobless are up. Then we should be on for a pump for a rates drop. Well, we've got 10 minutes to see, haven't we, Sean? I don't know if I should close my trades in the red or add more margin. Just scared it's going to nuke, says Equinox. That's the old trickiness. I suppose if you don't mind sharing, what trades are you in? Like, and what trades are they on? If you don't mind sharing, don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you have to in the chat. If you don't want to share, just say no or just don't reply anymore. But if you do want to share, I'd be interested to know what you're long on. I'm guessing you're long anyway. And obviously from where. That would be quite interesting to know. I'm down on ENA. Let's take a look at ENA. Following this one is following Bitcoin quite similarly, isn't it? Like the look of this and Bitcoin are quite similar. Not exactly following ETH that much. Now this had a super rally, didn't it? This one was just like non-stop rallying. Just relentless. Thing has done like a 4x. Now, I mean, it's come into quite an interesting area. I would say where it came into here, I would say that's a pretty... I need to make this a bit darker. Hang on. So everyone can actually see it. Maybe do this. Yeah. So I think this is actually quite an interesting area for it. But again, I think, you're probably right in the fact that, is this just going to get some insane strength out of nowhere? At the moment, it looks probably, like it wouldn't do. But obviously, if the market picks up and, obviously Ethereum starts running again, then obviously this could pick itself up quite quickly again. But yeah, I think this, and alongside obviously most altcoins in the market, are basically just relying on Bitcoin to pick up the pieces of this market and, start rallying so that the market can get some life into it again. Is my opinion anyway. All others are good. My liquidation is 57. Yeah, I messed up, got in late. So your liquidation is 57. Is it like a big liquidation? Like, would you be completely horrified if you got liquidated? Or so you've got about 10% wiggle room there, haven't you? You've got about 10% wiggle room, which, interestingly, to me anyway, unless obviously this just starts losing all strength in the market and obviously just starts retracing the whole move up, this potentially says to me that obviously this would need a complete market meltdown for obviously this to go down towards your liquidation. Now, obviously, this is not financial advice, so don't take it as that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I don't know whether this would just suddenly drop 10% on its own. Say if Bitcoin just steadied here, and ETH steadied here, in and around here, would it just suddenly just start going down further? I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it looks like obviously it's trying to hold this region. I think this is quite an interesting region for it. I mean, if you go below that, then yeah, if it starts obviously breaking down out to this grey box, then I think obviously there is probably there is a potential chance for you to get liquidated. But maybe just keep your eye on the market. I think the best thing to do that I've always found anyway, Equinox, is when you start to worry and when you start to kind of panic, obviously, unless you're like imminently about to get liquidated or stopped out, if you've got some time like that where you've got 10% to go until your liquidation, you're not in an urge, you know what I mean? You're not in an urgent. It's not going to drop 10% in a 4-hour candle, is it? Touch wood. Then if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed and a bit like kind of, unsure what to do, just go for a walk. Just take 5-10 minutes, go for a walk, leave your phone at home, just get out in the fresh air, go for a walk, come back. And I find that personally, that just makes me feel a lot more calm, and you kind of like get your market out of your head a bit, and you're able to think more clearly, because, obviously it will be easy for you to panic here and just be like, all right, I'll just close it. But then obviously, you've got areas of like, potentially this, you've still got this low, which, if it does come down lower and the market comes down lower, it could potentially liquidate that low and then bounce, which obviously, is only a minor drop, really. It's quite easy to kind of get in your head or panic or whatever. Yeah, so, before you make, and this goes for anyone, before you make any big decisions in the market, unless you're kind of absolutely sure or you've planned it in advance or whatever, just go, take a 5-10 minute walk, come back level-headed so you're not caught up in the market, and then be like, right, okay, what am I going to do about this? Yeah, I think that's, that works for me anyway. 750 million just got minted at USDC Treasury. I think like $1 billion got minted at Tether yesterday on Ethereum as well. There's a lot of stable coins getting minted on Ethereum. I don't know if anyone's noticing that. Like, obviously, Ethereum is the king of stable coins anyway, isn't it? But like, a lot of stable coins are getting minted on ETH now. Yeah, I can add more margin, just don't want to get more in a hole. Exactly, that's it. Sometimes like adding more margin to a trade kind of gets you in a bit more in trouble, because really, you know, it's all right if it stops going down, but you need it to get back to your entry price, don't you? And that's what a lot of people forget. Like, say for instance, if it stops going down here and it just starts consolidating or whatever, but you know, you need it. Ultimately, you need it to get back to your entry price so you can get out or obviously profit, hopefully. Now, the king of this is obviously Stonksy. Stonksy isn't here today, unfortunately. He's at a wedding, is Stonksy. But Stonksy held a link trade for like, must be about 6-7 months underwater, and held it all the way through that drop that we had in March, April. He held it like an absolute soldier, and then held it all the way until this link pump and got out. And he refused to get out until he was back into a profit to cover his fees and stuff. So again, you know, that type of thing can get you in trouble, because if it keeps going down and you get liquidated and you've added more and more margin, you've got yourself in a bit of a hole, like you say. But yeah, have a look at liquidation heat map and see what you think. What for on Bitcoin? I still remain optimistic on Bitcoin. Like we was looking at it, you know, if we put in a higher low here, we've got the current low. If we put in a higher low, obviously you'd be able to see this a bit better on the 1 hour chart. But if we put in a higher low here, then we could go for a market structure break, obviously above this lower high. So yeah, just really just need some strength in the market today. I think what's quite interesting is, I believe, didn't crypto start selling off before the stock market? So stock market started selling off on Friday, but then obviously crypto sold off over the weekend. No, it didn't, did it? No, it didn't actually, did it? We got a little bounce over the weekend. We got yeah, we got this bounce here. Anyway, yeah. But I think crypto started selling off obviously more aggressively, because it started selling off on Thursday, didn't it? So really, maybe we could anticipate a bounce before TradFi gets a bounce. Again, I'm just trying to pull out the best kind of scenarios for us from here on out. Like, what is kind of the most bullish outcome that we could have from here? Pepe still in the same range you mentioned before. Oh no, actually. Yeah. Yeah. It's got a nice bit of demand on Pepe here, haven't we, on this daily demand zone here. We tested it obviously earlier in August, tested it again now. But I mean, ultimately, if you zoom out on Pepe, obviously we want to hold this as support. That's without a doubt. But this still is the area to break for Pepe, is this grey area, tied in obviously with this Stonksy resistance level to obviously open the door for the next leg. But I mean, even from here to here, it's like a 50% gain on it, isn't it, if it was to get back up towards resistance? But yes, it's still kicking about there. Oh. But yeah, I'm keen to see what happens with Bitcoin. I think is, as we know, it won't take much. It won't take much to reverse this to quite a key level. Like, let's pull out some of it. I mean, we know we're kind of really trying to pull at straws and hope for the best bullish outcome when we start adding additional things that we don't normally look at, like fib retrace. But if we mark out kind of the low, where is the low around there? Is that the low? I think so. Is that the low? No, let me. There we go. Then the midpoint of the retrace would take us right into 118.5k, which simultaneously obviously wipes out a lot of them lower highs. If you say we'd have a market structure shift, then we'd come after this lower high, this lower. I mean, I wouldn't really call that a lower high anyway, to be honest. I'd call this the lower high, but still, it's obviously like a point where we'd be looking for stops and liquidations. But I mean, if we're looking like we're going to put in a higher low here, and we come up, and then we obviously do break this, we could get a really aggressive push up, because we come after obviously liquidity here, and potentially obviously liquidity above there, maybe just before cooling off. We could come up to there and then maybe cool down, and then from there, is that obviously a sign of strength to where we go back up, or is that kind of like that putting in a more macro lower high to go with this all-time high, and then we go down? There's a lot of things to be considered, but let's try and get up first. You know, we need to try and get up first, and obviously that starts with this hourly candle. Now that starts with this hourly candle. Can we get a good hourly close and, you know, kind of look to cement a higher low here? Hey, here he is, Gonksy. Gonksy, I was only just mentioning you, mate, because we were talking about, we had Equinox talking about their position on ENA, obviously being underwater. And I said, Gonksy, mate, you was like a soldier, weren't you? Holding that link trade for about 6-7 months. And then obviously ended up being able to get out of it and covering your fees. So I was bigging you up before, Gonksy, the Phantom wedding power. Matt Barnett says, I held Sol from 160 down to 127 and back up to 200. Refused to close it, kept adding margin, but it is always risky. Yeah, it's always risky, because it's all right doing it, isn't it? But ultimately, you need Bitcoin to bottom. So, like, you've also got to tie in the wider market, because even if an altcoin's looking good, if Bitcoin starts dumping, then it can quickly eradicate that good trade setup, can't it? Shivan, how we doing? I'll have a look at that in a minute, mate. Is it better to add margin or try to reduce your average price? So, I mean, what's the lesser of two evils there, really? What's the lesser of two evils there? You've got, obviously, one hand, you're adding margin to reduce your liquidation price. But if you're looking to reduce your liquidation price, part of you is thinking that the price is going to go lower, isn't it? Like, part of you is obviously scared and thinking that the price might go lower. So at that point then, you know, where you kind of just like obviously putting money into a hole. Because if you're adding margin to it, particularly on yours, because you've got a 10% gap, you know. Now, the flip side is obviously looking to obviously reduce your average entry. It just depends on where price is in the market. So you need to look at the chart, or look at obviously Stonksy, or look at whatever it is you like to look at on the market, and say, are there a couple of things lining up here to tell me that this is a good place to add and good risk reward? Now, obviously, you've got quite an interesting point here, because you've got Bitcoin at a key point. You've got ENA at a key point here. Now, if Bitcoin obviously puts in a higher low here, then obviously it could drag the rest of the market up with it. If Bitcoin starts to tumble, it could obviously pull the ENA down with it. Obviously, I can't tell you, because I can't give financial advice. But what I would say the differences are, adding margin to a trade is kind of subconsciously thinking that the trade is going to fail, isn't it? Or at least, you know, you're worried that further downside or upside, obviously, if you're trying to short, is coming. Whereas reducing your average entry is all about where is price. So, for instance, say I longed ENA here, and then price come down, and I just kind of panicked. I panicked long more here. Really, you look at that chart, and you see, you know, if you were looking at it with a clear head and you didn't have a trade on it, then you could look at that chart and you could say, right, well, where could price come into down here? So for a couple of things, you can use the channels, obviously, for the extremity, for the, you know, the likelihood of it reaching an extremity, such as obviously the tail end of the inner channel. You can also look at the oscillator. Where is the oscillator? Now, the oscillator is obviously hanging around the lows on the 4 hour as well. Currently, at the time, obviously it was in the downward slope, weren't it? And then it popped up a bit, and then obviously we come back down. But also, I just look at it, and I think this region here is obviously a place where we got the impulse push up from. We're retesting it. You would want to see it hold. But yeah, I really don't know. It's tricky. It's really tricky. You just need to decide, is this a good play? Do you think this is a good place on the chart to add? I am balls deep in Pepe. My DCA is about this price. At least you're not negative then, Bobby. At least you're not negative. BTC getting a little pre-market pump. Let's hope that it's not to dump into US Open. Can you see the new token light on Solana? Is it on any exchanges? If it's on exchanges, I'll be able to pull it up. Yeah, let me know, Nick. I think we squeezed the shorts. Yeah, me too, Loki. I'm kind of in the same. I'm kind of in the same mindset that at some point, obviously, shorts have to stop getting away with it, don't they? You know, there's only so long, and this goes for longs as well. Obviously, we saw that with longs. You know, obviously, longs had it good for about about a week, maybe 8-9 days, and then obviously felt the pain. Shorts have had it good for a week now. You know, obviously this was last week, the Thursday, when we started falling off. So shorts have had it very good for a week. A whole week they've had it where you literally just shorted, looked for a bottom, which obviously currently as it stands, the bottoms have been quite obvious to look for. You get a push up, you either obviously hedge with a long and close it, or, you know, you close out your short and then look to reshort it, and then you short. So, you know, they've got away with murder really short so far. And like, obviously, anyone would look at the chart, you can see just the build-up of lower highs. Where are you looking for a squeeze to, Loki? It's quite interesting. It would be quite interesting to know. Where are you looking for a squeeze to? Can you have a look at the jobless claims? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I don't think they were anything much. We didn't really get much movement on the chart, did we? They were just a bit higher than forecast. So the forecast was 225. The actual figure was 235. But it didn't really miss by much, but it was a miss. Yeah, I'll look at... Let me see this. Please do make sure you drop a like on the stream. Let me see. Oh, I've looked at this before. I have looked at this before. Must have been a while ago. Right. Let me scrap off this box. Right. So we have daily demand down here. So we've got daily demand coming in around, 5 cents and just below. We have local resistance in and around 6.5 cents. And then obviously, we have, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. We have a bit of a higher time frame resistance up at 7.5 cents. So basically, I'm looking at this, and what could I say? If we come down, you obviously want it anywhere in the grey box. You would obviously prefer it to hold if you're looking for it to go up. If we come up to here, you want it to break above this zone. So you want it to break above 6.5 cents and then up to 7.5. And then if you go in kind of, higher time frame, above 7.5 cents, and where it looks like a reasonable point, you may as well go upwards. I mean, the thing is, this creates some quite big wicks. So it could go a lot higher than you think. So obviously on these pushes up, it creates quite large wicks. But yeah, I mean, there are four easy levels for you to look at, upside and downside. So they're my thoughts on it. We could always just test these local lows here. You know, you could test these local lows on this day on the daily here, and go up from there. I suppose it just depends on what time frame you're looking at it. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to the upside, obviously, yeah, you want to break this grey zone, which, you know, comfortably 6.5 cents for a daily close, and then up to 7.5, and then above there, you know, you kind of want to be on the route towards 11ish. So I hope that helps, my good friend. I mean, really, what we could do without today is obviously a US Open dump. We could really do without that today, because we don't really have much room before we create a new low. I've got the poll open, so please go vote on that. Please do make sure, if you haven't already, please do drop a like. It does massively help out the channel. Jeff says, I would be curious to know if anyone is DCAing into any spot positions up into the weekly open, but depends if we hold yesterday's low. Is that? Yeah. I mean, ideally, I wouldn't want to see it test yesterday's low. Light is the native token of Heaven Dex, launched on August. Oh, right, so it's a pretty new coin then. Let me see. Light. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Launched on, well, I'm guessing it came on MEXC on Sunday. I mean, it's tricky with these, Nick, because there's not really much price action to go off, is there? I mean, you can see that there's clear resistance up here, in this kind of 1 to 2 cent area. Obviously, you can see, you know, bang, 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 but it's continuously hit that. As obviously for support, you've got kind of, I suppose it depends how you want to draw it as well. I go for boxes because I prefer to trade with areas rather than like a singular line. I kind of like to give myself some room. So it depends how kind of squished you want the the support/resistance area. You could always pull that up there. You know, if you don't want to, you could have an argument to say that support is there and this was kind of just a drop down. But yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it, and I don't know obviously what it does. What I would say probably is, if we highlight this zone, if we break below support, you're probably looking for a pull back into like 14 cents. Obviously, if we break above the grey box to the upside, then I suppose it's kind of in price discovery, isn't it? So yeah, there's not really much to be said or that we can deduce from that because it's such a new coin. But obviously we can look at it and come to a few conclusions there. Jobless numbers should help risk markets. Let's see if it makes Fed cut rates. Wall Street to front run those chances. Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand the sell off into Jackson Hole. I think it's kind of just like a made up sell off, to be honest, because when have we ever expected Powell to give us any hint or indication on what the Fed are going to do? Never. He literally just does everything by the book. He won't give any hints away. Won't say anything, obviously, outside what's been discussed at meetings. So I don't really understand the sell-off, as if Powell is going to like stand up on stage at Jackson Hole and give some crazy master plan or crazy announcement, like as if he does that. I personally just don't see it. And I think it's kind of just like an event that the markets are using to correct. instead of it actually being some kind of risk. Could be wrong, of course, but yeah, I mean, the past two have just been boring and just meaningless, in my opinion, of course. Yeah, we got 33 viewers, so big thank you to those of you that have tuned in. Please do make sure, drop a big like on the stream if you haven't. Of course, please do subscribe, because at the time I came on, we was just 2 subscribers away from 4,200. Oh, 2,200 we got there. So thank you to the 2 people, if you're still here, that have subscribed today. That's great to see. So we're now at 2.2k. It was a 2198 when I came on the stream. So that is great to see. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, the market really is struggling for strength, isn't it? It's struggling for strength. Really, we want to see US Open. While we've bled basically all of London session, we want to see US Open have the turnaround. Because Asia, we kind of pushed up and then dropped down and consolidated for a bit. And then London session, we've just sold off in a straight line. So, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see, obviously, some form of strength in the market. But you guys let me know what you think is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen upon the open of the US markets? And you can do that by getting your vote in on the poll in the chat. It's just like the market is still with sellers, isn't it? The momentum is still with sellers. And Bitcoin is still failing to find any of its own momentum. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys think is going to happen. Jeff says, I think we're all going to be filling out our McDonald's applications. I mean, yeah, it really does need to kind of hold here. I mean, we could always wipe out yesterday's low. I'd rather we didn't. I'd rather we didn't, but we could do. At some point, it has to put a low in, and the whole time, obviously, on the sell-off over the past week, we have just been not putting a low in, and obviously, putting a local low, bouncing up, and then dropping down. This would just be a repeat, wouldn't it? Local low, bounce up, drop down, new low. We wouldn't be changing anything in the trend. And we have been selling off for a week straight, so the shorts must be piling up now. Oh, I forgot to get that. I forgot to go on legend mode. So this is looking like there's hot liquidity at 112,500. Hang on. Yeah, 112,500 is looking like hot liquidity, and then up to 15. If we go to the 3-day, there's not really much there, is there? 1 week. Yeah. I mean, the way it's kind of just hanging over now does look like it wants to come for the low. I mean, there's nothing. We're looking at the 1 hour, and there's just nothing here, is there? Apart from obviously this candle now. There's just this one candle. So, kind of at the mercy of who is going to bid this market. If anyone is going to bid it, is anyone going to bid this market? But we are selling off. I mean, we're selling off into the open. So maybe that's something. Maybe that's something, or maybe it's not. Maybe we just carry on selling after open. But at some point, we are going to get a bounce, and we are going to go after shorts. It's just kind of like, how much damage does it want to do to longs before it does that? How much do the market makers want to squeeze from people? But yeah, do get your questions in the chat if you want me to look at anything specific. ETH is having a pretty nasty hourly candle. The S&P, we'll keep our eyes on that today. I think the S&P, because it trades more like rationally, we could bounce after taking this wick out, which obviously would be good for Bitcoin. So we've not quite done it yet, but we could bounce after taking this wick out, and we're nearly there. So that could be good for Bitcoin. Just needs a bit more, a little tiny more of a squeeze down, and then we could be there on the S&P. It trades these liquidation areas a lot more easily than Bitcoin. So let's see what happens. We'll leave it marked out, and we are nearly there. Someone have a word with Jackson and tell him to leave the markets whole alone. Death. Just a complete nuke, innit? Right, here we go. Go on, just swipe the level. Just swipe it. Has it done it? I can't tell if it's done it or not. We'll know if it's done it if it bounces. I really hope this will be a lower high. A higher low. A higher low is what we want. Yeah, I mean, God knows. Honestly, I really have no idea. I mean, that hourly close, it just looks like crap, doesn't it? Like, there's just like every bounce gets sold. It's been selling off for a whole week. How much bloody Bitcoin wants to be sold off? It's literally been selling off for a whole week. Come on now. I mean, it's literally just fair game with these levels here to come and liquidate some of these shorts. I mean, come on. If it does this, then that is honestly just complete fuckery. But I mean, you don't even have to give it like a strong bounce. You just have to kind of rip it up, don't you, to kind of come after these stops and this liquidity. and then you can drop it again if you want. But I mean, stop letting shorts get away with it constantly. I think we can bounce back, but if daily close below 118,850, then it would be difficult, in my opinion. I mean, this is kind of the area, isn't it? Because we bounced from here before. You know, we bounced from here earlier in August, didn't we? You know, we bounced from here earlier in August, and then obviously went on. But if you look, see, this is what I'm hoping for. Now, really, what we're doing is kind of a similar pattern to this, where we put in the low here, and then we went up, we retraced, but we did put in a higher low. We didn't come for the liquidity below it. So that's what we want to see. You know, this obviously came down to here, and it did have obviously this wick on offering, but it didn't come and take it because the trend had shifted, and obviously momentum was going back up. This is exactly what we want to see here from back earlier in August. Is obviously this is the low, then we've rallied up, we've corrected back close to obviously the low, but then not taking it, and obviously then just pushed up. Where if we look at our current formation, it's looking obviously not the exact same, because it's not going to look the exact same, but in terms of structure wise, it's looking similar. We've got the low, we've pushed up, we've corrected close to the low. Now obviously we want to push up. If it's, you know, obviously if we're going to do the same thing. Now there are similarities between this and the other one as well. Obviously on this there was a series of lower highs, albeit they wasn't as aggressive and as vertical as the current ones that we have, but these were lower highs nonetheless that obviously had to be taken out of the market at some point. And you know, like the same that we've got now, we've got lower highs waiting to be taken out. But you know, can we get some sort of low put in here? Half an hour. I mean, I get kind of nervous for US Opens now, because you just expect it to go down non-stop, don't you? Like, you just expect it to go down non-stop. I mean, it is shaping up. You can say when you look at this one and you look at the previous one that we had when we came obviously into this area, it is looking eerily similar, isn't it? Obviously, you know, it's not going to look the exact same, but low, bounce up, aggressive drop down, puts in a higher low, and then goes up. We've had the low, bounce up, aggressive drop down, and obviously from somewhere here, we're looking for what hopefully is a higher low. Hello, Delanium. How are you doing, my good friend? But yeah, we've got half an hour to go. Let me see. Do make sure you get your likes in if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. We've got 17 likes with 31 viewers. So we can do a bit better than that, I think. Let's try and get us past 20 at least. If we can push to 25, that'd be great. So if you can go and like the stream, I'd be eternally grateful. Please do make sure you go in and vote on the poll as well. Oh, Down is leading on the poll now. So I think the past couple of days we've had Up leading on the poll, which obviously has resulted in us going down. So can we get a switch in direction now? That's not... I mean, it's not looking bad on the hourly now. Again, touch wood. Famous last word. But it's not looking terrible given the kind of bounce back we had on that hourly candle. But I'm just going to go and make another coffee, because we've got half an hour till US Open. We're halfway through the stream. So I'm going to go make another drink. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere. And yeah, we'll obviously look at anything else. If you do want me to look at anything specific, let me know. Let me know, and we'll look at that when we come back. And of course, yeah, do make sure you get involved. I'll be back in just a minute. Right. Woo! I can't lie. I had to go and do a gonksy then. I had to go and do a big fat gonksy in the toilet. So, yeah. Oh, that felt good. Right, let me see. What have I missed in the chat? Hey, Dean's here. How we doing, mate? Great to see you. The September drop just came a bit early this time. I'm personally not making any moves until October. What do you mean on that front, Pellin? Do you mean you're not positioning yourself long till October? You're not buying till October? Or in what aspect? Have you bought on this dip and then you mean you're not like going to be selling anything until October? Equinox says, I'm hoping we get a sweep liquidity of all the shorts that have opened. Yeah, I mean, really, we need to start pushing back up on the hourly now, really, or at least round off. We don't want to go any lower. Then a power rocket to smash the bears. You can't post links in the chat, Disciples. It automatically removes it. I'm really hoping so. Get a nice squeeze. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. Not buying back into the market. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think obviously for those of you that wasn't here, we was looking at the last time that we was in this position earlier in August, and the similarities that we had between obviously that move and currently where we're at. Now, obviously, we don't know if this is going to play out exactly the same or similarly. But obviously, on this one, we had a very aggressive drop down, didn't we? Very aggressive drop down. Different to the current one because this was done and dusted within like 3 days. Obviously, ours has been extended over a week. But we had the low put in. We then had a rally commence, relief rally. We then sold off strongly. And then we come and put in a higher low on the hourly. So obviously we came down pretty close to the low, but we didn't come and sweep it. We didn't come and interact with it. We didn't even really come and fill in any of the wick, actually. We did come in contact to the candle of that hour. But then obviously we put in a nice low on this move. And then, of course, then proceeded to rally upwards. Now, obviously, if you look at where we're at currently, again, it's not exactly the same, and we don't know it's going to play out the same. But you know, we've put in a low, we've relief rallied, we've sold off aggressively, we've come in to kind of obviously not the exact low, but you know, very close to it. And as it stands at this moment in time, we are obviously looking like maybe the sell-off is exhausted. Obviously, this can change quite rapidly because we've got US Open coming in 20 minutes. But it's obviously looking similar to what we had earlier this month. Always good to see Mr. Brown and his family off to the coast. Yeah, I did drop him in the water nicely. Equinox says, I mean, the market can't only go down. It's got to have a break to the upside at some point. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, it's the same for going up, isn't it? We had up only for like a week. You know, obviously, as soon as this higher low came in, we had just up only for about a week. And then obviously then that's met with, you know, longs obviously feeling the pain. So at some point, yeah, I mean, whether it's from here, whether it's from lower down, wherever it's from, you would expect shorts to feel some pain to the upside eventually. Let's just hope, obviously, it's from here and not from lower down. To those of us that are positioned long, anyway. SMFC, what trades you got open? You got anything open? I'm going to go and close the poll at the moment now. So the majority of people think we are going to go down, which may be a good sign in itself because the past 2 days, I think the poll vote has been up and we've obviously gone down. So we'll soon see. I mean, really, we just need stability in the S&P, don't we? And look at that. There we go. So the S&P talked about sweeping this level here. We've swept it on the past hourly candle. We did come and actually sweep it early in this candle. And it's looking like, obviously, it's pushing back up. So there we go. That was the blueprint. Hopefully, obviously, if this stays calm and pushes back up, we could get some, obviously, relief on Bitcoin. Touch wood. Yeah. Let me know if you want me to look. Let me get rid of that back in 5, actually. There. Let me know if you want me to look at anything specific. Entered ETH yesterday. Can't remember the entry long. Dave, are you trying to sell any of your spot positions anytime soon? I've thought about it. Yeah, I've thought about it. Our balls, I got stopped. Lol, 5% gain. Well, gains again, innit? Gains again. Are you gonna jump back in? Are you gonna jump back in? What are you thinking? I mean, Bitcoin's came down a lot since this morning, hasn't it? Risk reward here might be half decent if you maybe thinking we're gonna bounce, or at least maybe to see if it doesn't test this low anymore. Yeah, I mean, I'm favouring a rally into $18,000 at some point. I don't know when. I hope it's from here. But I think kind of when you look at it, obviously these are all supply areas and we'll all have their own test. But if I'm looking for anywhere to maybe trade into, obviously, given the fact that the arse just doesn't fall out of the market, then I think into $18,000 looks like it could be solid for then, obviously, for the market to then do a reset down somewhere, maybe back down into this level. This would actually work quite well, wouldn't it? If we come down, up into 18, down towards like 14.5, 15, round off there, and then push back up towards 120. Now that would be nice, but we might not get nice things. The nice things may be over for a while. I don't know. I mean, in an ideal world, that would be brilliant. Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh yeah. What you doing then? Are you doing Ethereum again, or are you doing Bitcoin? 112,825. Hey Delta, I bet you got absolutely blew out on your short yesterday, didn't you? Or did you close it? You were short going into the US Open, weren't you? Which obviously we got a nice drop on it. But then we proceeded to rally. I was just looking at, I was getting confused then because I was like, we didn't go down here yesterday, did we? But we did. I was really confused then because I was thinking, I don't remember it going. I thought the low was on Tuesday. I was getting really confused then. I didn't remember it was going down here yesterday. But we obviously did. That red background nailed it. Yeah, ETH again. I'm back on the ETH train. Yeah, nice. It was a happy day. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Delta. Much love, mate. Much love to you. What is the exact date for the publish of rate cuts? We don't know, do we? We don't know, Danilo. If we knew that, then there would be no like mystery around it or anything. If you're wondering when the next FOMC meeting is, when the Fed next meets, I think it's the 17th of September. Pretty sure it's the 17th of September. But that doesn't mean that we're going to get rate cuts. That just means that's the next meeting. So obviously the market is pricing in on Fed Watch that the if we go and look, I can go and show you right now. So the market is pricing in and expecting a rate cut in September. So yeah, 27 days to go until that. I'm sure it's the 17th of September. 17th of September. So there's a 77. This has come down quite a bit, actually. This has come down quite a bit. It was like 90 odd last week, but there's a 77.2% probability that the Fed will cut 25 basis points. However, the probability that they leave rates unchanged again is rising. Like I said, it was 90 odd percent last week, and it's now down to just 77. But again, we don't know. We don't know what the Fed are going to do in September. If we knew for a fact that they were going to rate cut, the market would probably behave a lot differently. But yeah, that is obviously the next chance that they have to do it. If they do, then everything is effed and they're taking drastic action. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's. I think a lot of people are starting to say that maybe they're too late in it and stuff. Maybe they're looking to cut too late. Obviously, we have this speech from Powell tomorrow. So Powell is speaking tomorrow at 3 p.m. UK time. Here. So 3 p.m. UK time at the Jackson Hole Economic Forum. So yeah, we'll see what we get. I need a dump ski, but I'm sat in traffic. Do I do it in the car? Then get it detailed? I'll be honest, at the start of that message, James, I thought you was meaning you need the market to dump. I was going to say, bloody hell, we've dumped all morning. Well, I went for a big, juicy one before, honestly. I mean, it timed perfectly with me going to make another drink, but I swear, like, I was just holding it in. It was proper turtle head in it. Turtle head in where it's just poking out. Like, that's what it felt like. I reckon you just do it in the car and get it detailed. And just say, obviously, it wasn't you. Just say, like, you left your car unlocked, you came back and someone had a massive turd in it. That's all you can do, really, in that situation. We've got 10 minutes until US market opens. Need to go up. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice if we went up from here. I think that if we went up from here and say, at some point this afternoon we're back at 114k, I think there is an argument to say that we are maybe then starting to see the lower time frame shift in momentum, because we'll have obviously put in a higher low, like I've covered before. But obviously we see these on the lower time frame before, you get the expansive move on like the daily and stuff. So we do need to see obviously price push up, but if we can put in a solid daily close and we start to obviously push back up into this resistance area, then I think the argument is there to say, right, there is a momentum shift happening now, and then these shorts from up here should feel pain then. New York loves to dump, then pump. Well, hopefully they're done with that. Hopefully they're done with dumping it on open. What have the outflows been like? Let me check. A CSE posted it. Did we have the outflows? So, what's the best website to see this? There's the 1 billion minted on Ethereum yesterday that I mentioned. What's the best website to see ETF flows? Does anyone know? Please do make sure, if you haven't already, do make sure you drop a like on the stream, please. It does help me out massively. If you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. We've got 36 viewers, which is great. 38 viewers. Fantastic. Thank you all for joining me today. And of course, if you're looking for anywhere to trade today, do come and join us at BLOFIN. The link is in the description. We are also partnered with BitUnit, so that link is in the description as well. And if you do want to join Stonksy, what is Stonksy? It is this indicator you see on the background. There's many working parts to Stonksy. If you do have any questions about it, get them in the chat. This oscillator is also part of Stonksy, but you do also get Discord access and access to the trading bots on 3 out of the 4 plans. So lifetime, annual, and monthly. Obviously, oscillator only plan means you just get the oscillator plan and Discord access, nothing else. But we do currently have 35% off lifetime and annual. So yeah, 35% off, and that is automatically applied at checkout. So you can grab a huge discount on both of these plans, and obviously have Stonksy forever, or get a year's access for under £650. You can also try it out for a month and get 20% off this plan with code BOT20, but you have to put the code in on the monthly one. You don't have to put the code in on these; they're automatically done. But on this one, you have to put the code in. So yeah, come and grab it while you can for nice and cheap. Come on, Bitcoin. Can you imagine just the pain? Can you imagine the pain if this puts in like a fresh daily low? Honestly, I think that would just be pure pain then, wouldn't it? If this candle completely reversed and closed red, I think that would just be pure pain. Lifetime is the only way to go. Up is the only way to go, Jeff. Up. Let's have it up. If anyone wants me to check anything specific, do get it in the chat. And I will look at any tickets you want. We did run through them before, but obviously we can go through them again for anyone that's recently joined, if you want me to look at anything specific. But really, most altcoins are seeing the same kind of pattern. As you can see, the same formation. Just really waiting for that confirmation from Bitcoin that they can go up. So yeah, as you can see, just patiently waiting for Bitcoin to give it the move. Give it the beans. BNB. Yeah, well, BNB made an all-time high yesterday, didn't it? Yeah, BNB made an all-time high. I mean, there's not really much to say on BNB because it's at fresh highs. I mean, that has had a great year, hasn't it? Really. It was all the way down at $500. It's nearly at a 2x for such a large cap as well. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, it's just on the up. You know, price discovery to the upside. Price discovery to the upside. I mean, one thing we can use is the bands. You can see it's stopping kind of around the top of the inner channel, isn't it, on the weekly? That's where it's getting caught. As you can see, it got caught here as well and all along there. But, I mean, it's in a phase of expansion, so I wouldn't want to step in the way of this. Me, personally, I wouldn't try and short this because, I mean, this could go as high as Binance wanted to send it, really. But, yes, such a strong coin. Really good. Right, we've got 4 minutes to go. Let's go and load up the 1 minute chart. Oh, I'm feeling a bit nervous. Is anyone else? I'm feeling a wee bit nervous about this. I don't know about... Is anyone else feeling like that? 3 minutes to open. Yeah, I mean... I feel nervous for what's gonna come for the next couple of hours. I mean, please send it up. Please, God. Oh, what's happened there? I think my screen's gone off on it. Is it back on? Can you see my screen? Can everyone confirm if you can see my screen? I can't see it when I go on the software. It doesn't look like you can see my screen. Can anyone see my screen? Let me know quickly. It's blurry. Hang on. What is going on? Right, hang on. Hang on. What about now? We're back. What about now? Are we back? Are we back just in time? Got less than a minute to go. Screen also nervous. I know, yeah. God, I am nervous as well, you know. I'm awfully nervous. Please send it up. Well, we'll soon see. K Sarah. I think they'll send it up. They're going to send it up, aren't they? Nice build up into the open. Send it up. Send it up. There we go. We're open. Delta's been a big bad bear saying down. Well, that's just what it's doing, isn't it? That is just what it's doing. That was a big, juicy red candle. Big, juicy red candle. Come on. Man, the S&P is just nuking on open. This is getting ridiculous now, isn't it? Come on. Send it up. There we go. Come on. Bounce back. Yeah, bounce back nicely. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, come on. Bounce on the S&P. Rally all day and give Bitcoin some breathing room going into the weekend. And down it goes. Yeah, that was a pretty aggressive. It's a bloody S&P 500 again. But it'd be nice if we were correlated when it was going back up, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. I actually had a dream last night. This is when you know you've looked at the charts a lot on the day. I had a dream that we went down to 111k last night. And I was obviously kind of like, I was mostly asleep, but you know, like when something feels real, that you convince yourself, like in my dream, like you convince yourself that you know what the chart is doing, even though obviously you don't because you're not on the phone. Like you're not on your phone. But I had a dream that we went down to 111k and I woke up and I thought, oh God, have I been stopped out? And I went on my phone and looked, you know, that like kind of second of uncertainty when you load up TradingView and you're waiting for the price to load. Yeah, I had that. I had flashbacks of that candle that nuked the CME gap. Crazy, isn't it? Honestly crazy. Come on, up, 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 up. Come on, yeah. Come on. More. 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 Don't lie, you don't sleep. I sleep like a baby, mate. But honest, sometimes if I've been looking at the charts too much in the daytime, like a bit over much, then I will actually dream about it, which I hate. I hate it because you just don't feel like you've ever stepped away from the chart. Then, like even in your sleep, you're seeing bloody Bitcoin, so you just don't feel like you've ever had a break from it for a couple of days. And also, you normally dream about what you don't want to happen, such as overnight I had a dream that price went down further than it had already gone down, so I woke up thinking I'd been stopped out. It's honestly, it's the worst. I hate it. But here we go. Come on, S&P, go on. There we go. Bang, 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 bang. Come on, choose violence to the upside. Come on, squeeze them shorts all the way up to 117, 118k. Scotty says, what have I missed? All the fun, mate. You missed all the fun. Where do we want to start? Come on. Also, you can see there's a lot of... I don't know if there still is or not. Let me look at the hourly. No, not so much. But yesterday, there was obviously a lot of short covering in and around this area before price could break up. But yeah, I mean, obviously, all this is prime for just running now. Just like all that build-up is prime for running. If it can do it. Come on. Come on, Bitcoin. Afternoon, Wizzo. How we doing, mate? You coming on stream tomorrow? Do you want to come onto the stream tomorrow? And back down we go. Could do, yeah. It would be superb, mate. If you're free and you want to, let me know. You know, it's an open invite to you. If you want to jump on, you know, it would be more than a privilege to have you. So you just let me know. What do you think? What are you thinking, Wizzy? What are you thinking for direction? Where are we going? The up or the down? I'm favouring a nice little run into the weekend now. Come on. Run it all weekend. Run it back to the upside all weekend. Send it into 118k and then do what you want after that. I simply do not care. Higher lows, please. Not looked away with the misses, so day off. Oh, nice, mate. Enjoy. Well, thank you for joining me on such a day. 50-minute RSI ticking up and money flow looking positive, says Disciples. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much for that analysis, Disciples. Keep it coming. Come on, keep it coming. But still long from 4070. Well, I mean, the thing is, you've got such a good entry there on ETH. You may as well just kind of let it run to break even or glory. Do you know what I mean? Because you literally may have ticked basically the bottom. So, you know, if you get stopped out, then the market's gone to shit on it, basically. Or you could obviously have a position there where you run it to, you know, obviously local highs, all-time highs, whatever. Such a good position to have open, and then obviously just clip some off the higher, you know, the higher it goes. Come on, let's run it up. And here we go. Here comes the bounce back on the S&P. It's like a horse race, isn't it? But come on, here we go. Come and squeeze these shorts. Look at these nasty, nasty shorts. We're going to call all these Mr. Deltas. All these are Mr. Deltas. All these lower highs are Mr. Deltas. And they're all waiting for a good spanking. So Mr. Delta's going to get spanked. And this one is the first one to get it. Good spanking. And then this one. And then this one. And then into the supply zone area. Here. But first of all, we need to spank Delta. So give him a good spanking. Everyone give Delta a good spanking in the chat. Say spank, spank, spank. And that will all be spanking Mr. Delta. I mean, we didn't absolutely dump on open like the usual. Yeah, that's a positive sign, isn't it? I am, mate. Yeah, I'm long, yeah. I'm long from 113.5. So I rode the downside yesterday. Luckily, I didn't get stopped out. Then, obviously, upside until I went to bed. And then I've rode it back down. But I just kind of haven't messed with it. Like, I woke up today. I woke up quite early today. I woke up at 4 o'clock. So price was around here, 114k, maybe 114.2-ish in this candle. And I was thinking about closing it, but I was like, I'll just leave it open. Obviously, that in hindsight, that would have been good to close there and then, reopen at the same level, which would have been good. But I just thought I'll just not mess with it and just leave it and just let the market do its thing. Because if this obviously turns out to be a bottom, then, it'd be obviously nice to be on board. Dave, you filthy animal. Oh, I am. Is that from Stonksy TA or your own TA? Mixture of both, really. It was a mixture of both. I liked, obviously, when we came down into here and hugged the lower end of this inner channel. So that's obviously typically a good sign, is obviously when you're reaching the extremities of the inner channel and even poke out into the outer channel. Obviously, we'd also caught the big drop down from here. But also, yeah, part of a bit of my own, because we'd come back into daily demand here. So, we'd obviously come back into where we bounced last time in here. So, yeah, a bit of a mixture of both. But, I mean, we're kind of in and around the area, aren't we, where we bounced last time? So, the invalidation is obviously breaking to new lows. So the risk reward is kind of there, in my opinion, anyway. Not financial advice, of course, but... Oh, man. Here we go. Here's the complete shit on. Here we go. We get a nice open, and here comes the absolute turd, just gonna poo all. Here comes the Gonksy, just pooing all over it. Dave is Stonksy. When he goes long on BLOFIN, Stonksy goes green. Yeah, I'm the commander. I am the captain of this ship. I am the captain of this boat, isn't it? Off that meme. I am the captain now. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, for me, it looks quite similar to where we were last time. So if we look last time, I know this is like the 4th time I've gone over it, but obviously people have jumped in at different times. So obviously last time we had the big nasty sell-off. We came into this same kind of area. We then obviously bottomed. We then got a relief rally and then dumped hard and aggressively and then put in a higher low here, didn't we? So we put in a higher low. We didn't come and sweep obviously this low. We didn't come into new lows. We just came into around the area and then obviously pushed up. As you can see, it looks quite similar to obviously what's happened this time. Is obviously we've dumped aggressively. We've put in what, at the moment is the low. We've then relief rallied, sold off aggressively. And then, can this be a higher low? Same as the other one. That then springboards a shift in trend and a shift in obviously momentum. Starting with the low time frame, leading into the higher time frame. That's what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. Just basically a rinse and repeat of last time. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly the same, but the metrics and the structure of the market is kind of similar to last time. So that's what I'm looking for. And well, that's what I'm hoping for. Whether we get it or not, it obviously remains to be seen. We really do need to start pushing up. Like, ideally, we push out a resistance today, but at least back towards 114k is where I would want to see us, as far away from the low as possible. Bring it on, bitches. Spank Delta. Spank. You're getting spanked. You naughty boy. You naughty boy. So yeah, that's where I'm at anyway. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping for. And the rest, we're at the mercy of the market, aren't we? We're at the mercy of the market now, so who knows? But hopefully this leads on to a good day on Bitcoin. If the S&P can start pushing back up, then obviously that heightens our chances. If we can get some strength in the stock market, that heightens our chances of having a bullish, strong day. But, I mean, obviously we look for low time frame first, so we're looking for obviously that initial glimpse of shifting the trend, which obviously then should roll over to, you know, more obvious on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily. But yeah, I mean, all in all, good open so far. We've begun pushing up, but we do need that momentum to come through today. Ethereum, again, I assume everything looks everything will look eerily similar. You only kind of get the disparities once you get some sort of shift in the trend, and then obviously you get things that perform stronger at the most, etc. But a lot of things really do look the same. Yeah. Ton's pushing up quite nice. So Ton looks like it's going first. Obviously, one of the few that's green on the day, nearly 1% up. So Ton's pushing up. What else? Obviously, Arve is another one that's green on the day. But yeah, can we get some sort of shift in trend? If you do want me to look at anything, let me know in the chat. This is where this hourly candle turns red, and then it's just pure violence. I mean, it's annoying because the S&P looks like it's dumping now. Yeah, so the S&P is dumping, which means it's just shitting all over that nice open we had on Bitcoin. Just completely pooing all over that open on Bitcoin. Hopefully it can hold on its own for a bit. But maybe we come for the next area. SNS Solana naming service. Oh, okay. It's not on many exchanges, is it? Obviously, I'm guessing just very similar to ENS. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh my. Whoa. That is brutal. Look at that. My God. That actually might be one of the worst charts I've ever seen in my life. In terms of the actual, like, just macro view of it. I mean, look at that. Imagine getting on board with that. The thing done like a 10x in a couple of days. Jesus. Like, how many days did it take for it to do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days. And it done like a 10x, obviously, if we're looking up here. Wow. But I mean, and then it's just completely bled out, hasn't it? Just completely bled out. Just lower, 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 lower. And then is, you know, obviously potentially showing signs of life. I mean, it's up nicely on the daily today. I mean, that is insane. What a crazy looking chart. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this apart from it could just be a gamble. You know, there's nothing really solid to say about this because I wouldn't really pin much TA on it or anything, just given the amount that it's gone down. But you know, if you could use it as a gamble if you want to put, you know, some like money that you're not bothered about potentially losing or potentially losing some on, and just see if it hits like a 5x or a 10x or whatever. I mean, what market cap is it? Again, obviously that is not financial advice. I'm not encouraging anyone to gamble or buy that coin. But yeah, like personally, I wouldn't stick any like money that I value in it. Let's see. $5.4 million market cap. Yeah, I mean, it's super, super low market cap. Super, super low. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Okay, so we come back up a bit on the hour. What's going on? Oh, we had some data come out actually 4 minutes ago. So maybe this has given the market a bit of a push. We had these S&P Global Manufacturing PMI and S&P Global PMI. Let me refresh the page. What did they come in at? Maybe that came in positive. Yeah, they both came in the green. So they both came in higher, which is in green. So I'm guessing that's good. Which maybe, yeah, let's give the market some kick up the arse, because as you can see, the S&P was dumping into that. And then a shot back up, which is obviously give Bitcoin some room. I think what's happened here is, I don't know if does anyone agree with me this, Bitcoin started dumping before TradFi. So Bitcoin started dumping on Thursday. And then obviously it's dumped very, very hard compared to TradFi. So I think it could be in the position where Bitcoin looks to turn first. Now, obviously, it might not turn fast if TradFi keeps dumping. It might be hindered by that. But as soon as TradFi starts to kind of cool down from, you know, the downside and stuff, we could see kind of full gear on Bitcoin because it dumped first. So can it be the first to U-turn first and obviously go up? But I mean, that's a great reaction on Bitcoin, isn't it? A great hourly candle and exactly what I was looking for. But yeah, I think obviously the S&P was dumping then, which was dragging Bitcoin down a bit. But we had that release of data, which seems to have obviously springboarded it back up. Obviously helping out Bitcoin with its resurgence to the upside. Let's see what the trade... This trade is still open on BLOFIN, by the way, on the stream account. It's probably just marginally in profit now. Yeah, $20 up. We've still got the same entry, 113,500, and I'm looking for anything in and around 118 if we can get there. But whether we get there or not, we'll have to see. Come on, Bitcoin. Here's a question: when these whales buy OTC, that doesn't affect spot price. When they sell, do they sell OTC or on spot? I suppose it depends on the person. They may do one or the other, or they may just do one. So, you know, they may just buy on the OTC market and sell on the OTC market. They may buy on OTC and sell at market. I don't know. We would really have to ask a whale that question. Strange that Bitcoin is so closely coupled to the stock market. It's been it's been coupled with it for a long time. It's very closely coupled to the Japanese Nikkei as well. It's a TradFi asset now, isn't it? It's basically a TradFi asset now. You know, with the ETF flows and the amount that the ETFs hold, coupled with obviously strategy holding so much, Bitcoin is basically a TradFi asset now. So it's basically pinned to it in a lot of ways. I would assume big orders are done on OTC market disciples. You'd be mental to market dump a whale bag, yeah. Unless they wanted to walk it down themselves. So when you see price just being perfectly walked down, it's either being twapped lower or obviously to the upside. Obviously, you know, when strategy buys, you can kind of sell. But for instance here, obviously on this bit here, you know, this was either obviously someone or like a group of people or organization walking the price up by, you know, obviously just buying at market slowly or twapping it. Obviously, if someone has a lot of Bitcoin or a lot of stables, they could just give themselves, you know, a lot of control by, you know, basically conducting the market. They could do that if they wanted to. Do you speak whale? I don't. I wish I did. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Oh, to be a whale. Oh, to be a whale. That'd be nice. But yeah, pushing on up quite nice. Let's see. Obviously, yesterday was a very red day for the Mag 7. Nvidia is pushing back up quite strongly now. So that sold off obviously pretty aggressively yesterday. And then did bounce into the end of the day, but is obviously now looking to maybe recover from this dump. Apple is, not started on its work up from yesterday yet, but obviously has pushed back up from where it dumped down to so far today. Meta's down 1%. Isn't really, looking like it's pushing to the upside at the moment. Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and then Google. So we could get a good push, obviously, on the S&P if they start to give the rally upwards. Can we get a Bitcoin rally? Can we get some big old green dildos on the corny? Come on, Bitcoin. If you were a whale, you'd have to swim through Gongxi's poop. That's true. That's true. Bet it tastes nice, that as well. I bet you'd love you'd love a big spoonful of Gongxi's poop, you Save of Crypto. I know you would. There's no even question in it. I know you'd love a big scoop full of Gongxi's dump. You'd love nothing more. Especially between your teeth. You go like that, and all brown and everything. I'd force feed Delta it. Delta would be force fed it. He wouldn't have a choice. The S&P is looking a bit uncertain at the moment as to what direction it wants to take. Hopefully it doesn't ruin our Bitcoin rally. Hopefully. Please don't ruin the Bitcoin rally. Please. Leave it alone. Please have mercy. And just push back to the upside. Just give us a nice end to August. Go on. Please. Don't ruin the Bitcoin rally. Give me a chocolate starfish any day. Wow. Well, I'll consider that an open invite to Gongxi then. We'll consider that an open invite to Gongxi and get him to live stream it in the Discord. How about that? Yeah, that's what everyone wants to see. That's right. USDT dominance. If we can push back down on this, that'd be great. If this can kind of start to fall back off, then that would be nice to look for inflows back into Bitcoin. That would be superb in my catchphrase. Superb. But yeah, big thank you for everyone joining who has joined today. We're getting great viewership on the streams of recent. Let's see how many of you have been kindly enough to bless me with a like. 21 likes. That's good going. Can we get it to 25? Try and get the likes to 25. I would greatly appreciate that. If you have enjoyed the stream, then subscribe as well. If you're not, it'd be great to welcome you back each day. Of course, if you're looking for anywhere to trade, we are partnered with BLOFIN and Bitunix. You can find them links in the description. And of course, we are running the big offer on Stonksy on the lifetime and annual, 35% off both. Automatically applied at checkout, so that brings the annual down to just under £650 for the entire year of unlimited Stonksy indicator and oscillator access, Discord access, bot access. Superb deal on that. And then, of course, if you want just Stonksy forever to be yours, then you can obviously get a discounted lifetime plan as well. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone that has joined today. I massively appreciate it. Obviously, have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow for a big stream for Friday. Obviously, rounding off the week. We'll have Wiz on tomorrow as well. So probably plenty of stock talk. So do make sure you jump in for that. And until then, I'll catch you all in the Discord. For those of you that are in there, take it easy. Bye for now.